Our new release is iOS 15. It's packed with features that make the iOS experience adapt to and complement the way you use iPhone.
Yo, what's up guys, Peter Valley here, welcome back to another one. Guys, this is a good day. This is an exciting day for Apple fans, iPhone users, and people who love software updates. This is the time where you have the ability to install iOS 15. It has been released to the public. Anybody can install it if you have a compatible device, and I already have fallen in love with it. I've already had iOS 15 for a few months. I was running the public beta. I don't usually run developer betas on my units because these are my main drivers, so I'm already taking a risk with the public betas, but the fact that I back up everything to my iCloud, it kind of gives me a little bit of security and a little bit of comfort that I can use it. And I don't think we've ever come across a beta that was a public beta that was absolutely devastating and unusable. And so here we are, launch day. Anybody can get this if you have a compatible device, and there's a lot that they brought out into this one. Now, the changes are pretty incremental for the most part. It's a lot of aesthetic changes, but there were a couple key features that I really loved. So let's go into the big ones. One of the changes they've made is the redesigned Safari app. So when you go into Safari, the first thing you'll see is that the address bar is no longer at the top, it is near the bottom. So if you take a look at Safari, the actual top is cleared up, so all you really have to look at is the time and just like an empty space, and the actual address bar is embedded into the bottom. So I think that was a pretty good plus. It's more accessible easily for people to click and type at the bottom. It's a con for some people. They do see it as an obstruction when you're trying to navigate, but I haven't had that happen to me personally, and I've been using the device for months. They've also made Safari extensions available on mobile as well. So just like with MacBooks, you have certain extensions, like if you have the Honey browser extension or any other extension that you like to use, you can actually embed those into Safari on mobile. So that's helpful for those who use them. The next thing is Apple Maps. They really did a good job with Apple Maps. Everything just looks super fresh and clean. There's a lot of different features and different view options and settings that you can actually see on Apple Maps now. Apple Maps has truly come a long way, because I remember the old Apple Maps where everything was two-dimensional and certain directions would take you all over the place, and you didn't get a lot of real-time updates with travel. A lot of those things have been refined in Apple Maps, and a lot of it has to do with Google Maps, and you can definitely see the parallels. So they have completely enriched details for roads, neighborhoods, trees, buildings, and even 3D refinements for landmarks. There's also driving improvements like turning lanes and crosswalks, bike lanes, and street level perspective. I really like the overall vibe of the Apple Maps. You actually get that three-dimensional view of certain landmarks or certain buildings, and it's really intuitive. I love it. It really feels like I'm using Google Earth. You can even zoom all the way out, and you can really get a good feel about just like the whole overall experience, given that this is like the native Maps app that really just focuses on navigation and traveling. This is something that I find to be very awesome, that you can have all these features built into the Apple Maps app without having to have a separate maps like Google Maps or Google Earth to be able to do these things. And there's a lot of different Siri knowledge things that you can get with articles. You can get reviews for certain places. Now, a lot of these things were there before, but it just the overall look and design of it has been improved. So I do like that a lot. Another focus is focus modes. Haha, you like the segue? I love it. So focus modes is basically like a profile structured framework where you get to choose different apps that you want the iPhone to show you at certain times. So for example, if you want like a fitness mode, you can set it to where only your fitness apps or nutrition based apps are shown. You can also set time frames of when you want these focus modes to automatically enable, and if you want to have it disable at a certain time when you get off and all of your other apps show up, that's another option. So it's kind of their way to kind of gauge user focus to help you eliminate distractions. And that's one thing about social media in general, being able to click into them no matter where you are, even if you're trying to be productive, can be a little tempting sometimes. So having a focus mode that you can toggle on and remove them from view can help increase productivity, at least hopefully. Another moderate change they've made is to the Wallet app. They've actually brought ID cards to the Wallet app. So you can have your driver's license on your Wallet app, state IDs, you can have even vaccination cards I think they're going to start bringing to the Wallet app. And even keys are being brought to the Wallet app. So even with like smart locks for your home, certain hotel rooms that have like the little wireless connectivity, or the garage keys, and even saved keys in the Wallet app for some businesses that businesses might want to utilize to integrate within their workplace to actually have access to certain on-site room locations. That's all being enabled in the Wallet app as well. So no actual complete like redesign of the actual user interface of the Wallet app, but the features are pretty helpful, especially for people who don't want to carry a lot of physical cards nowadays. They've also made some changes to notifications, which I think is pretty cool. It's not major. They really just increased the app icon size and the contact photo size, so it looks more fresh and everything is more easily identifiable, which I really do like, and that's even reflective on the Apple Watch as well. You can see that the actual photos are larger, and I think that's nice. That's something that kind of should have been there. And there's also notification summary, which is like a collection of notifications that you can choose to get all at one time. So you can choose to get like your news, you can choose to get certain like notifications for different apps all at one time, and kind of get a summary of everything in one. Now, one of the biggest things that they've done in this iOS 15 update is FaceTime. FaceTime got like a steroid shot. Like they took penicillin and they just injected FaceTime, and it's like on a whole new level now. So this is pretty much a giant FaceTime update with a couple of other, non-factor updates in the mix. FaceTime is like way better now. So the first thing that they've introduced was SharePlay, which means you can basically watch TV shows, movies, or music in real time with other people with little to no lag, and you also have playback controls with other people, so they can basically play and pause, switch different different forms of media, and everyone on a FaceTime call can watch the actual content at the same time as everyone else. So they've literally embedded a watch party feature. It's literally what it's like. So if you have a bunch of friends and you guys want to watch one movie together, I recommend Avengers Endgame. You can literally have SharePlay power this, and you don't need a third-party application, you don't need Zoom, you literally can see each other and the content and have controls over the content, and it all syncs at the same time, no matter the location of where you're at, and it works. You can also screen share with other people with FaceTime. So you can allow other people to see your screen, or vice versa, if you're wanting to show them something. So instead of having to send them a picture or like leave the FaceTime app, send them a picture, and then come back to FaceTime, you can literally just share your screen, and whatever you're looking at, you can show them. I see this being a major help for people who don't understand technology. Like if you're someone who is maybe a little bit younger and you have somebody in your family who is maybe up there in age and probably don't know much about technology, and they're having an issue on their phone, you can show them how to share their screen and walk them through the solution in real time while on FaceTime. That's incredibly useful, and you need to bring it to everything. And also, portrait mode has been brought to FaceTime. I actually like this, portrait mode to FaceTime. So you can actually toggle this on and off. You don't have to have portrait mode. There's a little switch where you can touch it and click on and off. But I've tested portrait mode on FaceTime, and the edge-to-edge detection is real time, and it works. Almost works a little bit better than portrait mode in the Photos app that I have experienced, at least on my phone. I've noticed that with tiny little feathered objects that's kind of on the edge on the photos in the photo portrait mode, it is not good with that kind of edge detection. But with FaceTime, because I guess it's your face and it just kind of detects everything around it, it's a little bit easier to do the real-time edge-to-edge detection. But it looks great, man. I mean, it's like it's putting Zoom out of business because it's, I mean, the blur background is very nice, a nice depth of field. Is now available during live calls. But I would say the biggest, the absolute largest update to FaceTime is the fact that they now have FaceTime Links. So you can schedule a FaceTime call and send a link invite to someone else. But that's not the big part, and I'm sure this has been talked about all over the place. but I'm still gonna talk about it like it's the first time because I'm excited. The fact that you can send a link to anyone and anyone can join from any device. That includes Android and Microsoft. So they basically brought FaceTime to Android by scheduling it and making it kind of like a video conference, like a WebEx meeting or a Microsoft Teams meeting or a Zoom meeting. FaceTime has taken its rightful place, and now you can do FaceTime calls. And it's still end-to-end encrypted like you would have on Apple devices. This was a big one, and I was very, very pleased and amazed to see that they would bring something like this, especially given the fact that they prize themselves on the ecosystem and the exclusivity of what you can offer with a different app. So the fact that this has been expanded, and I feel like the pandemic has a lot to do with it, with the fact that everyone's doing video calls now, everyone's doing things virtually, trying to connect with one another virtually. So I feel like without the pandemic, this probably wouldn't be a feature they would bring in so soon and so easily, but the fact that it's here is amazing. In addition, they also brought live text. So live text is obviously something that was been on Androids for a while, but it's on iPhone now, so I'm glad. I'm an iPhone user, so I get to take advantage of it. It works in the camera app, and you're able to basically highlight text that's in a photo and copy the text to clipboard. If you want to search it or translate it or you want to do anything with it, it's text. And also visual lookup is on the iPhone. So I know Google is pretty much like the powerhouse behind this. So they have the feature where there's like machine learning. You take a picture of something and it automatically knows what it is, and you can search it up and you can look up different articles and information about it just from taking a picture of it. Well, that has been brought to the iPhone. Now, it's not completely refined and it's not as expansive as Google yet, but as in my test that I did, it works for the basic things. Okay, hot take. I'm gonna test visual lookup on the iPhone, powered by iOS 15. Now, one thing I've already noticed is that with certain images that are already in my camera roll with objects that are obviously clearly defined, it doesn't really pick up or identify everything. And there's a lot that it does not do. Now, compared to other phones and other different products on the market that has this ability with a much more expansive machine learning capability, that's a little bit of a downside. But one thing I did see is that they want to specifically identify very basic things. So what I'll do is I will test this feature on a plant, something like this, and we will see if the plant is identifiable. Now this, I have no idea what kind of plant it is. It's just a generic plant, but I'll take a picture of this using the Photos app and see if it actually detects what it is. Here we go. So, okay, so I just took a picture of it, and now we're gonna go to the actual camera app here. So the photo looks pretty easily identifiable. You can clearly see that's a plant in my hand. So in order to test the visual lookup, we'll click the info button at the top, and then you'll know if it detects it if it has a little icon, and it does. So there you go, an icon here. If you tap it and see what it pulls up. I actually really want to know. Okay, so we have a Siri Knowledge article, and it's actually a sword fern. A sword fern. So it actually detected as a sword fern, and you have other pictures of sword ferns. So this is helpful, especially for people in landscaping who see a certain plant and doesn't really know what to identify it as, and there's other images to show and illustrate it. That's pretty cool. Very nice. Now, I don't know how far this goes, how far wide this can go. I know plants are probably the easiest, animals are the easiest. Certain things in nature, I would assume would be the easiest, but inanimate objects, I wonder if they'll even go that far and how far it goes into that. But for something like this, for iOS 15, built in with Siri Knowledge, I'm glad it's on the iPhone. I know we've had it on Android devices for a while, but the fact that we are able to do this on an iPhone, I think is pretty great. So there you have it. It works. It works for most things. It works for basic things. Things that you probably would already know what it is and wouldn't need to look it up unless you need specifics. In addition, I just want to say I love the new weather app. It looks great. It's nice and fresh. There's new graphical displays of weather data and new redesigned animated backgrounds with like precipitation, air quality, and temperature maps. So it does look way more engaging, and it is more powerful than it has been prior. I think it's powered by the Weather Channel, so you don't have to have the Weather Channel app, although Weather Channel app still does have a lot more details on the day-to-day forecast. So I just hope they continue to add more function, but the overall look of the weather app, I just gotta say I love it, and it's starting to get me away from other third-party apps, because that's really the goal that I want to achieve. I want to have all of my weather data being able to be pulled from the native app. So anyways, that's pretty much the big chunks of iOS 15. There's quite a bit that they've also brought that I didn't mention, but I love iOS 15. It's one of my most desired aesthetics upgrade, not so much function. I would love for like a completely redesign in iOS 16, but who's to know what they're actually gonna do. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, drop a like on it, and if you are an iOS user, put in the comment section below what do you like the most about iOS 15 and what do you don't like so much about iOS 15. I want to hear your thoughts. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.